First, get your data in order, and if you have that in order, you're ready to build those AI solutions. And definitely look at what are you trying to achieve. Really have a good business use case to start working on those models and understand it. Just doing it for the sake of we're doing artificial intelligence won't bring that extra profitability or bring that extra competitive advantage for companies.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of Engati CX. I'm your host, Jeremy D'Souza, and today we have a really interesting guest with us. All you data lovers, you're going to love this episode. But before I introduce you to our amazing guest, allow me to first introduce you to the magic of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform, available across 14 channels, with 30,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. We run the Engati blog, the Engati CX podcast, and the video channel, receiving upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc.com, TechWorld, CIO, and many others. Now for our wonderful guest. Yves Mulkers is a data strategist specializing in data integration. He has a wide focus and domain experience on all things data. His skill set ranges from the bits and bytes up to the strategic level on how to be competitive with data and how to optimize business processes. He's also the founder of 7W Data. Yves, we're really thrilled to have you with us today.
Jeremy, thanks for having me on the show. I'm very delighted to be here.
We're glad about that. Guys, before we dive into this interview, I have a quick announcement for you guys. And that is that we have something special waiting for you at the end of this interview. So stick around. Yves, let's dive into this. Let's get started. Okay, my first question to you is, what exactly is big data analytics and why is it so important?
Yeah, to me, big data analytics it's in fact two things. It's on the one hand big data, and on the other hand the analytics. Mm-hmm. So big data, we were very familiar with the 5 V's of big data: the volume, the variety, velocity, veracity, and value. And we can imagine a few other V's during the last years. What is important there is that the big volumes and the velocity of the data forced us to use different technology than we used in the past for traditional business intelligence, where you could use an Excel pivot table to build some insights out of that. With the analytics, that's something new that comes into play. It's based upon the statistics, it's the models, it's data science, all common names to people not so familiar with the domain. But it helps us in a different way to get insights out of that data, where in the traditional way, it's very rigid, it's very structured. And with data science, we're working a bit more in the probabilities. It's where you apply statistics to get a hunch of what is in your data. So that's for me a different way of how you build that. Back in the days as well with business intelligence, it takes a whole long time to get these insights. And with data science, big data, and the new technology, we're ramping up and we're getting kind of like we're using our gut feeling as a human being. That's how I look at how data science looks in that, but in a more perfect way of confirming that gut feeling. And that's for me the importance of big data analytics, if you want to call it like that.
Okay, so it's essentially bringing a bit of a human element, human insights into the entire process of understanding your data, right?
Yeah, it's for me, it's different. I mean, the traditional way, it's simple. You just add them up, and it's like your balance sheet with your accountant. It has to be pixel perfect. I mean, if you add it up, you can't. 10 euros can be missed out. In data science, you're working with probabilities. If you look at how your curve is, you say, okay, this looks like most related to it. So you have different fields of applying that analytics on big data as well, because you sometimes have an issue with your data quality. So that's something you need to overcome as well. And therefore, for me, it's bringing the two fields together is where the value starts to come. I still see so much. The two departments very separated. You still have traditional business intelligence, and you have the people working on analytics. And last year's even worse. You have the department doing artificial intelligence. And in essence, what we see, it's all about data. It's doing your data management. So the foundations, it's what is very important in this respect. And on top of that, we have the data models, the algorithms that are built on top of the data. And on top of that, you have that self-learning aspect, what we call artificial intelligence. And for me, that's where you see we came from traditional business intelligence, data warehousing, dimensional modeling, but now it's the systems that are helping us bringing or building that better set.
That's really interesting. Now we just touched on AI, so I really need to ask you, what role do you think that data analytics and AI actually play when you're crafting a human-centric approach to digital transformation?
Well, I have a bit of problem with the human-centric approach in digital transformation, because if you see digital transformation, we see the word digital, and we tend to see that it is technology. It's about the bits and the bytes. Yes, that does help in transforming some processes in a digital way. But on the other hand, what we see is digital transformation. In essence, it's very much about the cultural change of people. So people are so used to fill out their forms on paper, take a copy of it, make a fax of it, just copy the Excel sheet over. And we need to learn that you can do things in a different way. But as a human being, we're very afraid of new things. So that's why for us, it's leaving that aside and trusting some new processes, trusting new technology as well. There we're a bit feared of. So it's a change of mindset, what is digital transformation about. If you talk about the human-centric approach, there I can understand that you talk about human-centric approach where algorithms can become more precise. And for example, if you go on a website and you want to buy something, and the suggestion is pretty accurate, and you say, okay, this was really the thing I was looking for, then I see it as, yes, the human-centric approach. It's in marketing where you try to target that unique customer for your product. If you can do that, a pixel perfect matching, I'm not annoyed by having that advertising, which is, hey, this is the stuff I was looking for. If it's off, then I'm very annoyed because people become blind for these advertisers. And that means we have to less over spam people with those advertisers, because it becomes more a human in a certain way. And human, again, for me, it's a big interpretation, because we as humans, we still make errors as well and learn from that. But it's that kind of dialogue what you get. I mean, you say, did you really mean that? Or did I understand it incorrectly? It's about communicating. Mm-hmm. And if we can bring that into that back and forth dialogue with algorithms and with technology, then I think we can talk about the human-centric approach of artificial intelligence. But yes, we're still far from the scientific, from the science fiction movies where we really dialogue with the systems in the background, and they're very helpful. But if we can come to that, yes, I do believe it will bring us more joy and more stuff in our everyday life.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting time. But right now, we do need to overcome our resistance to change. We need to start accepting the new things. What I also notice is that a lot of companies tend to be resistant towards automation because they're kind of worried about it stealing their jobs away without realizing that it's actually going to help them perform better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, it's still a problem. It's transparency, and that's a big discussion. I had a lot of discussions on where are we with the artificial intelligence and where are we going. So what I've learned as well, that we're at this moment in time, we're pretty good at narrow artificial intelligence. For example, speech recognition, object detection, facial recognition. Those are pretty niche domains where we apply artificial intelligence or the algorithms. In the general AI, where we can say we can talk to this system and it comes back to us, that's still a long way to go. And what is the biggest issue with these algorithms? That's the transparency, that we can look into the box and see how it decides. For me, it's kind of, I never know what is going on in people's mind either. So you have the politics which are playing, and I always compare the current state of artificial intelligence with how people play politics. Sometimes they use you for certain purposes in a certain way. And that's where we feed these algorithms with our ideas, whatever, and that's what the outcome is. And that's something we are optimizing now with the algorithms to get that bias out. I had a discussion with the CTO of IBM, and like he said, if I ask you what is the color of a sheep, what would you say? Say, yeah, white. He says, if you look at all the information that we feed into the model, well, based upon on the literature, it says black, because in literature, all sheep are black. And for me, it's kind of, okay, if we don't give the right input to these algorithms, we don't get the right outcomes. Yeah. So that's something on the ethics where we are progressing on how artificial intelligence should become smarter and more intelligent, like we human beings have some triggers built in, and where we say, okay, this doesn't feel right with the observations what we have, but we're still lacking a lot of input for these algorithms to work in the correct way.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly are lacking in a lot of ways, but AI, big data, all these algorithms, they're all growing and they're becoming more viable, viable options along with each other, right? Do you think they're feeding off each other for their growth?
In a certain way, for me, it's not they're feeding upon each other, because you can use artificial intelligence on a smaller data set as well. So you don't really need the big data to have performant algorithms. If you see Facebook, for example, they can identify you only on about 8 data points. It's really insane if you think through how well they can know you just on a few data points, what they have available. So for me, it's, if you say they feed each other, not directly, but the more accurate and spread data we can have and help them in building a better view and better decisions, then I would say yes, definitely they help each other in that sense. For me as well, a positive point with artificial intelligence and the algorithms is that you can use them to optimize your data management as well. So as human being, we can't look at a few petabytes of data, but you can throw the algorithms to it and they say, okay, the data quality of this entity in there is not optimal. This is what is missing in there. And that's where artificial intelligence could help make the data more usable in a certain way. And if you say they feed upon each other, yes, then I believe it's where they work together.
I like your points that with AI, we can actually take our data and we can find out what we don't know. Right now, we don't know what we don't know, and we're quite lost over there. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how AI could actually help us with that. Okay, my next question to you is, how can companies use big data and AI and all the other algorithms to create memorable customer experiences? You did talk about personalization over there. Would you like to build on that?
Yeah, for me, it's there where they tend to know you better in a certain way and advise you in a better way. What we see very often is a lot of these big companies, they build self-service portals, and you have to go to the forum or you just Google around and try to find the answer. Finally, you go to the contact center or the chatbots, and that's where you feel, well, I'm a bit biased because I know how the chatbots work. I know how a call center works with the scripts, whatever. And I'm sometimes trying to push them to see how the customer experience is going. This morning I was spending, I thought I spent about 15 minutes online trying to cancel my subscription for a software. And I felt, okay, they're looking at amateuric customers, so they want to keep me in the loop. So their sole purpose is to keep me on board in the subscription. So it was a bad customer experience because my initial thought was, cancel the subscription because I have a different option available. But they kept me going on, going on. So if you could optimize that customer experience, would be better. A better customer experience is if you go into a shop and you get that right advice based upon, okay, I think you're worn out of your trousers, whatever, and you come in and we have this and this colors, really helping you out in that way, where mostly shop assistants are very well in that. They understand what you're looking for, they help you. So if you can have that AI, it can be supportive. I don't think only AI and data will build that customer experience, but it will be, if it can support the people that are helping you out and building that customer experience, yes, then definitely that could be a viable option.
Pretty interesting. Could you also share your thoughts on the current state of AI and machine learning, the way it's utilized and adopted in organizations?
Yeah, I touched briefly already on that, where we are with the narrow AI, artificial intelligence, and the general artificial intelligence. So that's still a long way to go. What I see, most of the product vendors built already a lot of traceability and explainability into their products. And that's very hopeful. I mean, we don't have the black box anymore. We can see how we came to a decision. So for me, it's positive that I can see how this suggestion came to be as a part compared to humans. We never can look in somebody's mind and understand how they took that decision. So that's a positive evolution in that respect. And I think the big issue, what I see still with AI solutions, that's what we saw with data science. And I thought it was only in data management and building data warehouses, which we are doing already for the last 20 years. It's all about data management and bringing whatever you built as a solution into productization. So we became very good at deploying software solutions. I mean, the continuous development, the continuous release cycles of software development, that's something software companies have under control. But for data management, for data science, and for artificial intelligence, we're still struggling to get there. So what I see happening is that companies are applying more and more these software methodologies onto data science and onto artificial intelligence, where we come into data ops and AI ops, to be able to really deploy those models and make them sustainable and scalable. And that's something what I see happening in the next coming 2 years, definitely, that field will mature. And then we will start getting more benefits out of the artificial intelligence. And it will become more accessible for companies as well, in a certain way, where we see we needed PhDs to understand the algorithms and build the algorithms. And it's becoming a bit more self-service. You have AutoML, auto machine learning, where you can throw something in and the machine just fiddles out a lot of the models that are available and say, okay, these 3 out of the 10 I tried seems to be the best fit for you. So as a business user, you can say, okay, this does make sense. So that kind of evolution, that is definitely coming and is already there. I see a lot of products already having AutoML into their solutions right now.
Yeah, it's going to make this much easier for them to use. Yves, do you have any other thoughts that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, we talked a lot about artificial intelligence. For me, it's still a very exciting world or a scene where we are in, and we still have a lot of space to grow in that. But first, get your data in order, and if you have that in order, you're ready to build those AI solutions. And definitely look at what are you trying to achieve. Really have a good business use case to start working on those models and understand it. Just doing it for the sake of we're doing artificial intelligence won't bring that extra profitability or bring that extra competitive advantage for companies. Really start from your vision, your mission as a company, and build that data into your culture, and then I think you're very well suited for the future.
Yeah, you can't just, get started with artificial intelligence just for the heck of doing it. You need to get your data in order. Eve,
Absolutely.
where can they find you? Where can our audience reach out to you if they have any questions?
Well, first and foremost, I think just go onto LinkedIn, find my name. They can connect with me on LinkedIn or just go to my blog, 7wdata.be, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, 7wdata.be. You know where to go, guys. I'm sure you're all going to reach out to Eve, get your data insights perfect over there. Guys, since you're stuck around till now, I did mention that I have something special for all of y'all. Our new ebook, The Evolution of Customer Experience, is out. It's available for you to download for free. So it's listed and linked in the description. You should really check it out. Engati CX will be back with a new episode and new expert really soon. We'll see you there, guys.